So effectively, no sooner than I finish a video that I wanted to do because I didn't see any news articles today, I was going to be like, oh, I'll make this video, and then I pulled my baby down to bed, and I'll upload it, and that'll be it for the day. Apparently not. Initializing systems updating competitive play for Overwatch 2. Totally misread that anyway because I was reading it from my shrunken screen. So, yesterday, you might know that I was talking about some of the system updates that are consisted of like the UI and things in the back end stuff, specifically concerning Defense Matrix, which is, by the way, fortifying the gameplay integrity and positivity in Overwatch 2. Fascinating. So moving on, this one is now about the updating competitive play. So we actually have some changes that were coming in, if anybody didn't know about that by now. Competitive play has been the heart of the Overwatch community for years. No. I didn't know about it this entire time. And we have long-term plans to nurture this game. I wanted to make sure I read that right. Game mode far into the future. We're excited to share how we're updating competitive play in Overwatch 2, starting with the goals that guided our decisions. First, seasons should be exciting and tell their own individual stories. That might be a little overdoing it, but I'll follow along for now. Each one should take players on a new journey with heroes, maps, game modes, and balance changes. I mean, okay, sure, yeah. Second, we believe losing games shouldn't be a purely negative experience. I'll say. Competitive players should feel a sense of progression after games, and we want to provide players with the tools needed to improve and rank up. Okay, I can get behind that. That seems like a pretty reasonable thing. Finally, we need an improved competitive experience for returning players, for the benefit of both them and their teammates. So let's dive deeper. Indeed, let's dive deeper, because I think that between the second and the third one, we're going to need a little bit more information to work with on that. Unlocking competitive. So initially from Overwatch 1, before I even read this, to even unlock competitive, you need to reach rank 25, and they did allude to that in Defense Matrix that they were changing that up, so it wouldn't be the same, since there's no more leveling system. They mentioned that for the first time user experience that they want to implement, it's 50 quick play matches before competitive unlocks, and that seems fair. You need to win them, not just play, win. So, unlocking competitive, here they're going to talk a little more in depth. Overwatch 2 will not have portrait levels, and much experience will go towards leveling your battle pass. New players who create an Overwatch 2 account on or after October 4th will play through a guided first-time user experience, FTUE, and they will need to complete and win 50 quick play matches before competitive unlocks. This gives new players time to prepare for the higher expectations that come with competitive, while veteran players don't feel discouraged by teammates who have less experience. Sure. But remember that we're now left with the community that has been playing consistently for a while, so keep that in mind. In the process of unlocking competitive, we analyze new players' skill levels to optimize matchmaking in a way that feels good to everyone. This only affects accounts made on or after October 4th release date. Anyone who has competitive unlocked prior will have access to it in Overwatch 2. Easy enough. Seems fair. So here's the thing that they were doing. They were trying to change up how the skill tier divisions were working. As I understood that there was no more gold, there's no more gold, silver, bronze, so on and so forth, all these different ranks. They were going to either change the whole thing, or they were going to change up how they worked. So here I think they're going to just talk about it. I myself am a mid-tier gold player, so I've reached platinum at my peak, and I know that I can hit diamond if I have enough willpower to actually push through the platinum mentality, but more on that in another video, I guess. SR is being replaced by skill tier divisions in Overwatch 2. We made the decision to remove season ranking as a numerical value and relieve the sense of being stuck at a certain rank. Yeah, well, I'll say, okay, so what did you put in there? Seeing your SR go up and down after each match almost felt like taking a test with a teacher, passing or failing you based on each individual question, rather than your complete work. Wow, that is actually something I never really... That's actually a really good analogy. I like that. It was a lot of pressure and it didn't give players an accurate representation of how they're performing overall. Thank you! Like, you can make your best educated guesses, but that wasn't really it. It was like the hidden MMR that nobody could see, and it's like, dude, can you just let us, like, see that, maybe? Tiers still exist in competitive, bronze through grandmaster. Okay, so they're not getting rid of it. Each tier will have 5 divisions ranking from 5 lowest to 1 highest. As you progress through each tier, your division will count down until you rank up to the next tier. Top 500 will not have tier divisions. well, duh, because it was supposed to be just the individual players, the top 500 of each region. I figured that wouldn't be a tier that they measure like the rest of them, because that's not how it works now. So tier divisions represent the same skill levels as SR, but they give players a higher level view of where they're placed in competitive. Each division represents approximately 100. That's actually pretty good. Approximately a 100 SR range. So okay, players will receive a competitive update every 7 wins or 20 losses instead of every single game. Wait, let me reread that. Each division represents approximately 100 SR range. Players will receive a competitive update every 7 wins or 20 losses instead of every single game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's 7 right there. Okay, so competitive progress. All right, so I think they're going to explain it on the bottom one. I'm just trying to make sure I understand it too. So competitive updates will show your progress and adjust your division. If necessary, looking at the past 7 or 20 games as a collective helps you better understand how you're performing in a competitive, rather than putting a ton of pressure on each individual game. We want you to feel like you're improving and being rewarded for advancing from first day to start playing. You start playing competitive in Overwatch 2. Okay, so we're gonna have to have it come in here just to try and get like a better idea. Let's see if I can zoom in. So right off the bat, they're mentioning the date, the map, and I don't know if that is supposed to be all the heroes that were played or what those 3 heroes on each individual map signify. I'm not 100% certain. But every 20 games lost. I really hope that means you don't go down ranks, but we'll figure that out as time goes on. Matched focused UI. So this is actually a huge improvement, as I gave a quick glance over everything before the video, but I waited for the actual recording to look into it in detail. We're making some changes to the competitive UI based on feedback that we've seen in the community. Portrait borders that symbolize player level are going away. Competitive skill tiers are no longer being displayed before each competitive match. I covered this in the previous video, actually, that usually that was kind of like where you subconsciously won or lost the battle. For my instance in particular, it's about players that are in my rank above, platinum, or rank below, silver. That if I saw a team predominantly consisting of gold players with a few platinum players mixed in, I would be like, okay, we're probably going to lose this. Losing the battle before we even started. Whereas, if I was in a match where it was gold players with a few silvers mixed in and no platinums, I would predetermine in my mind, okay, we've probably got this in the bag. Again, winning the match before we even play it, which is kind of the positive thing, but it's kind of bad that you even determine the outcome of the battle beforehand. I've eliminated that mentality personally, and more on that in another video. But let me see. Going away, competitive skill tiers no longer displayed. Skill tier and division aren't completely aligned with the matchmaking rating we use to determine matches. To this end, this screen has been redesigned so you can instead display your name cards and titles. That's cool. The introduction of the new scoreboard, that's what I'm looking into, will help you identify your team's needs and adjust your strategy accordingly. We're removing medals from the scoreboard. They were too arbitrary, and that's unfortunately true. It was kind of a good guide to say, like, if you were a damage hero and you were getting eliminations, you're kind of doing your job. You just had to know how to read them, but I agree in that it was arbitrary because it paints an inaccurate picture for a lot of people that didn't know how to actually read them. So they're removing it because they were too arbitrary to paint an accurate picture of the players' contributions to their team. Okay, that's fair. I like that. Our goal with this new scoreboard is to communicate information about how the match is progressing in a more open and transparent way. So let's quickly zoom in on this image right here. So we have Junker Queen, we have this one dude, okay, so this is a versus AI match, essentially. So Junkrat, 25% accuracy, direct hit accuracy, concussion kill, enemies trapped, and riptire kills. That's pretty average. So final blows and solo kills. So that's one interesting way of doing it. I think they're going to explain in just a little bit more details, but this is specifically for Junkrat, like your individual contributions of like your weapon accuracy, your direct hit accuracy, your concussion mine kills, so on and so forth. And then the final blows and solo kills were kind of the more important stats anyway, so I'm glad that they're keeping track of that. But more on that in just a second as we read on. Finally, the new ping system gives you a new tool to communicate with your team. We already read about that one, but basically ping helps you better coordinate with your team without having to speak, and that's kind of like a call out in game, which will help out. Placement matches in Season 1. So this is going to be interesting. The placement system from the past competitive seasons is changing in Overwatch 2. Instead of playing 5 matches without a rank, you will be unranked until your first competitive update after the first 7 wins or 20 losses. So are those, by the way, you know what, never mind. I'll ask that question a little bit later on and see if I can get an answer. But you can expect to start at a lower skill tier division after placement matches and progress the ranks throughout the season. All players that were ranked in competitive prior to Overwatch 2 will have their rank modified post-launch. And here I was under the impression they weren't touching MMR, but I guess that they're just not touching the base stats. They're just touching your surface rank is what I'm getting at that. Overwatch 2 is a very different game, so we applied a formula that gives returning players an opportunity to redefine their rank when they dive in. Okay, so basically they are... It's not touching the anchor stats, it's just touching the surface level stuff. I could see that. Most players will find their rank is slightly lower when they start out. Duh. As they will be learning new concepts and metas. However, players who got to learn about the game in our betas or who follow the Overwatch League may find themselves ranked higher than ever. Kind of interesting. Interesting indeed. Game reports will introduce a new section to the career profile where you can find your replays and highlights. Well, they already have the replays, but I see what they're doing. Further enabling you to learn and grow from your gameplay experience. We're adding a new feature called Game Reports under the History tab of your career profile. Game Reports provide a detailed summary of all your matches played in the current season of Overwatch. So in this instance, here's what they're showing. So they show like, oh hey, you won this match, you were defeated this match, you started a custom game and it lasted 25 seconds because you didn't do anything, and then here's blah blah blah. They give you the reports. That's kind of good. They're not showing a lot of detail here, but this is what it will most likely look like. Overview, statistics, history, etc. Going back over to here, these reports show you an overview of all the matches in your current season broken down by game mode. Opening a match will further expand your stats, including the overview of how you played, which heroes you used, and other match information. So let's take a look at this one. So for example, they're giving the summary here that this player played in Summary Kings Row. It was a victory. The final score was 3-0. They played on said date at said time. It was a game mode of hybrid, game length for however long. You could view the replay and it resets after every patch, like current time. Total performance was 14 eliminations, 21 assists, and 5 deaths. So the things that everybody tracks. Baptiste played 33% of the time with a playtime of 3 minutes, and Anna was played 67% of the time with 6 minutes and 12. So it gives good, decent stats. I wonder if they'll modify that as time goes on and try to give better, more in-depth information. Oh, here we go. No, it's personal. Here it goes. Clicking on heroes played will expand on your stats. Okay, so basically they answered my question immediately. Well, handy information from each match's scoreboard. For example, if you played Anna during a match, your personal stats will show biotic grenade kills, enemy slept, nano assists, likewise. Other heroes will have specific stats to give you a detailed report on how you performed on every hero. So let's quickly zoom in here. So looking at personal, it'd be under Anna. So again, it gives that personal time played, players saved, scoped accuracy, slept total, grenade kills, healing amplified, healing prevented, and nano boost assists. And that's just covering Anna, so other heroes will have different stats to kind of keep in track. In future update, you'll have your recently played matches persist across seasons, meaning if you log off, you can jump back on and review them at a later time. We'll also introduce a timeline feature to check out key moments from a match and review final results of the scoreboard. That's kind of important. Top 500 leaderboards. Top 500 leaderboards will largely remain the same, separated by input pool. You'll need to complete 25 games for any given role in role queue or 50 games in open queue. Yeah, I don't want to do open queue personally, but let's continue. The combined role queue leaderboard requires you to complete at least 25 matches. Top 500 leaderboards unlock 2 weeks into the start of each new season, and cross-platform players can view separate leaderboards by input pool. Duh. I would hope you'd do that. Skill decay and competitive. So this is kind of a big one. So I glanced over it and I didn't actually read if it affects everything, so let's read what they changed. Our team has also been considering how to approach players who have not played Overwatch recently. Players who haven't played recently are less likely to maintain their actual prior skill output in a match. To help account for this and make matches fairer, players who haven't played in a while will find their internal matchmaking rating lowered to help us reevaluate and determine their skill level. We'll also adjust their internal matchmaking rating more quickly, up or down, as they play matches after returning. Returning players will therefore quickly get back to their appropriate skill tier and division as they continue to play. Competitive rewards. So this is cool too. Competitive season will be aligned with our overall seasonal schedule, including the Battle Pass. We're removing the commemorative sprays and play icons players earned each season, including the top 500 sprays and icons. We're introducing new limited competitive titles for your name card that you can earn as you climb the ranks. These titles will be a way to show off to other players how high you've climbed in a season. You can only earn these titles at the end of a current competitive season and only use them in a season following. Alright, that's fair. Competitive points will continue to be the reward currency for winning competitive matches, rewarding 10 points per win and 3 for a draw. Earning 3,000 points allows you to unlock a golden weapon for any of the Overwatch heroes, including new heroes like Sojourn, Junker Queen, and Kiriko. I don't really care about them, truthfully. I might have to add Sojourn into my repertoire. She's just a little iffy to me. However, we'll be capping the number of bonus competitive points earned at the end of each season to the highest skill tier you reach in any of your roles, including open queue. So they didn't actually give... I'm assuming that 3,000 will always be the base anyway. So, yeah. Evolving the competitive experience. This is the closing remarks. These changes are the beginning of our new competitive experience in Overwatch, and we'll continue to watch for ways to deliver fair and exciting matches in our core game modes. Upcoming features include a skill progression report each time you get a competitive update. We can't wait for each season to provide a new chapter for everybody looking to grow their skills, and our team looks forward to changes coming to the competitive in Overwatch 2. So overall, I actually do like most of this. Unlocking competitive, I think I mentioned this in my previous video, the 50 matches, they may have to kind of give that a feel-see and see where it goes, because winning 50 versus playing 50 is a different way of doing things, but I at the same time completely understand it is quite the way to filter out everything. So unlocking it, I guess that would be fair, and then the people who already have it unlocked are already there, so whatever. Skill tier divisions, it's a little confusing to me when it comes, like I was going to save this for later, but players will receive a competitive update for every 7 wins or 20 losses. So, from what I'm understanding, let's say that you play enough matches to get 7 wins multiple times and 1 set of 20 losses. So does that mean that if, let's say, you traded each time, so win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, so by the time you hit the first 7 wins, it'll go up. Then the next 7 wins will go up. And then by the time it hits the third 7, it would need 1 more match, but it would count for that 20th loss. I don't know if that makes sense. I might have to find a visual, but again, assuming that you hit 20 losses, will it go down? And then when you hit that 7th win on the 3rd time around, will it go back up? I don't know. But we'll go from there and take a look and see if they kind of talk about it later and frequently ask questions or something. Match-focused UI, I love the changes. It gives more detail and it takes away from the stuff that everybody just didn't know how to read, so it's a little less annoying. Again, you have to know how to read them in order to get an accurate portrayal of how good you're actually doing. So it's finally good that we're able to actually see some of these things and actually stop having idiots be like, oh, I got gold damage. Yeah, I bet you do. But I also duly note that you're not getting kills. Placement matches for Season 1. It's kind of weird. Yeah, let me see. We're making sure I'm not mixing it up with other stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna double back on that later. Game reports, I like the detail. It tells you how to improve yourself, and it shows the important things of each individual hero, so I'm glad that that's in there. Top 500 leaderboard, it's whatever, I'm not there. Skill decay, I really hope that they don't make a stupid decision on that. The competitive rewards, it's not that bad. Evolving competitive experience, that's the closing remarks, so nothing on that. But overall, I do like the changes, and I don't actually hate everything. It's actually kind of interesting. I'm not excited, as it were. I'm interested in what they're doing, and it is drawing me in, but I'm still remaining a little skeptical because I don't know what they're doing in total. So we're going to keep that in mind, and we're going to go from there when Overwatch 2 releases and see what that actually does for everybody. But with that being said, I'm going to call it because I need to upload 2 videos, and I want to I want to know what you guys think about Overwatch 2 at this point. I know there's a lot of people who have been taking this very negatively because they're like, Blizzard's not changing and whatever not. But obviously they are making a very strong effort, and I've seen it from time to time that they could do that. So I'm looking forward to it at the very least. I'm not ecstatic like, oh my god, it's bad. Like, no, we'll see it when we see it, and we'll judge it based on the merits. By your fruits you shall know them, and that's how we're going to have to judge it. So I'm going to let you guys go. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.